Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a non-bingo-y rack. Is it bad enough to change? Certainly not. I've got Mifty for 32. And another bad rack. No bingos with a 7 or an 8. How to sort it out? I do have a reasonable balance of vowels and consonants. And I'm looking to play off the V. I have pivot on my rack and pivoted through an E should one become played. So I have pivot through the I of Mifty. That's my preferred option at the moment. Could well be blocked. And any vertical play through the I would not provide an E in the right spot for pivoted. Difficult to see any alternative plays. I have potty in column 8, but that retains the V. The V isn't the worst tile in the world, but if I can get rid of it, I'd like to do so, unless it's surrounded by tiles which are particularly good with it. For example, if I have the over prefix plus an S. Now, opponent taking a while with their opening play. Are they about to bingo? And what to do if pivot is blocked? Pivot isn't a great play. It puts an O next to this triple letter square. But in terms of sorting the rack out, I think it is the best. Do I have any V plays in column 8? Well, I have Tivy. Oh, wow, double, 52 points. Excellent play by opponent. And there is now 2 spots for pivot, 3 in fact, but I'm ignoring the bottom of column 4 because that stops 1 square short of row O and takes an S. So I could play it here, 27 points, or here for 27 points. That's not very helpful. How to choose between them? Yeah, I think there's very little between them. Each of them does provide scoring opportunities for opponent. I am going with this. Wow, fantastic pick. I have intoned. That plays in row G. Do I have it anywhere else? I have antinode through the A of Haniwas. What about the S? Gosh, looks like a pretty good set of tiles, but I'm not seeing a bingo. How about the P? End point. Well, I think I'm fairly confident of bingoing. Great. Well, 39 points, that's a good score for opponent. But I am going to be bingoing. What about this I of pivot? Not seeing anything with that. Opponent hasn't provided anything, so I have intoned in row G, putting an O under this triple letter square. Antinode has been blocked. But I am getting value from the Y. End point puts an I under the triple word square, so this is better. Does intoned have an anagram? Not only does this supply a Z spot, it provides a super hot play onto this triple word square and provides 4 hot floaters. Let me pause before making this play. This could be a case where intoned is a long way short of the best spot. So what would be better would be a play through the I. Not seeing one. What about a play through HO? No, nothing with the V. What about a play through the Y vertically? No. How about the T? No. JA, no. OS. No. L. No, I'm just not seeing anything better than this. So, intoned for 70. Wow, what a pick. I draw the blank, and the rest of the rack not too shabby. I think Unikite is good. Not sure that plays anywhere. Well, it does. It plays through the I of pivot with the blank as an S. But what else is available? Well, I have untaken on my rack, but are there any 7-letter lanes on this board? Not really. My K can go above the O. Maybe it would be worth playing that, getting 30-odd points and bingoing next turn. Let's see if that remains available. Jack is also good, and OSE. 42 for opponents, solid scoring. They lead by 4. So I have Unikites through this I. I've got Cat here. 46 points. Retaining the blank. Wow. And taking out a hot Z spot. And although I'm retaining a U, I've got the N to go with it. 46 points. What would Unikites score? And note that Unikites would be placing an E in column 8, providing a hot spot. 74 points. So the difference is 28. The blank is worth 25 to 30. The rest of the rack leave improves it. I think this Cat is better than Unikites. Yeah, so I don't see any reason not to play this. The alternative was scoring with Jack, but that would be a KE play, and the E is quite helpful. I am going with this. Ooh, not a good pick. Not a good pick. All vowels. So, could there be a bingo here? There are 5 vowel 8s. I would need the blank to be a consonant and to use a consonant on the board. And I'm really going to struggle if there isn't. I'm going to struggle to score if there isn't a bingo here, and I don't think there is. So, the floating consonants are P, V, D, and L. Very difficult to keep all of those in mind. But I'll have a look through while opponent is thinking about their turn. Nothing has come to mind so far. Epinuria through the right floaters. Nope, not seeing anything there. Gosh, there could be something here, but it's going to be awfully hard to spot. No. Great, opponent's slowing down a bit, only 19 points. So, how to sort this rack out? Nana is good, but I've got nothing to go in front of Ko or Tex. Not seeing a double-double. J is good, J-A-I. Wow. Should I change? Not what I was expecting at all after passing up the bingo. So it's only an I which goes after JA that I've got. in terms of a single letter. I'm not seeing anything other than Jane that's longer. The only word I can see on my rack is uni, and I'm not seeing anywhere to play that. I am changing. This is just ridiculous. So I will keep EIN blank. And I have pensive, which plays with jowls. Will that stay available? And Vespine as well, I think. Possibly not. Wow, another bingo from opponent. 70 points. They take the lead. What about the... I do have pensive because of par and ES, so I am bingoing straight back, so I'm glad I changed. What about this D? How would the word end? Well, it doesn't have to be a triple-triple. Any bingo in column 1 would be better than pensive. So let me just consider this rack plus a D. Not seeing anything so far. Still nothing. This rack plus a D. That's my pensive rack. Doesn't make anything with a D. Up and un. Up veined, not good. Nor up envied. No, nothing with that D. So, any other spots for pensive? Don't think so. So, pensive for 81. And I draw the second blank. Wow. Rest of the rack slightly away from a bingo, but it's not a terrible rack. I'll certainly be playing through this. Gosh, I would have cooeying through a G, or what? 30 points for opponent through a G or an N. Neither available. So only 30 for opponent, which is good. Could have been a lot worse. How to sort this rack out quickly? The C is a bingo-y tile, so the priority is getting rid of the Y and addressing the vowel imbalance. So a play of OYE would achieve that end. Well, what about doing this? It keeps slightly more vowels than I wanted to. However, look at the score, 43 points. This is surely better than anything achievable with OYE. Any other super hot Y spots on the board? No, I don't think so. I am going with Faye. And of course, I draw all vowels. So, another tricky rack to deal with, but I lead by 40. Opponent's play of tugged has created a nice 7-letter lane in column 2. There's still the floating P and I and V of pivot. There's row N, less useful. Not many tiles go after ES. So the board is still bingo-y, so it is worthwhile sorting out my rack. But can I do that in one yo? What I'd really like to do is play off E, I and O. And just E, I and O. I don't think that's possible. So I think I'll be changing those tiles, slightly galling. My opponent's very highly rated, so whenever you change tiles against a highly rated person, it feels quite disadvantageous, but sometimes you just have to do it. I can't see any way of getting value from tiles on the board, like the X. I don't have a T, and can't see any front extensions. I do have voice through the V. 11 points. That may tempt opponent to play in column 8. They won't score very much because I'm covering the premium square, the double letter square. And if they play in column 8, they'll be providing new floaters. Am I sure there is no bingo here? I've got peace with IO blank. Not seeing anything with that. Close to Oviside. Not seeing any extensions of voice. I really don't think there are any 7s with this rack. If there were, they may well play in column 2. Opponents played their 37 points. Wow, they only trail by 7, and I'm about to change. Ouch. Am I going to change? Opponent's taken out the best bingo lane. Oh, well, I was thinking about doing this, wasn't I? Voice for 11. I think this is better than changing. It's 11 points versus none, and the rack leave is okay. I am going with this. And I draw the Q, but I have the I to go with it. And the rest of the rack doesn't look terribly non-bingo-y. In fact, I could just drop the Q above the I of pensive. There are also the I's in pivot and voice, so I can certainly get rid of that, and then the remaining 6 tiles are pretty good. I've also got cheese onto the S of pensive for 30 points. Wow. And the rack leave then is even better. So, a close one. Opponent trails by 20. Remaining tiles, pretty bingo-y. Yeah. Look at all the gaps at the end. There are no tiles after the U, so all the V's, all the W's and Y's have gone. Could I have a bingo here? I think Barrique is good through an R. It may not be. Not seeing anything with the P. And I'm not seeing any 7s. So will cheese stay available? Still 2 S's to come, so there's no point in setting up an S lane. My blank isn't effectively the final S by a long chalk. Dade Zine is a front extension of Zine, but only 1 D to come. Voice hasn't created a new lane in row C because nothing can go in front of C. Now opponent takes my Q spot, 28 points. Bez takes a T, 1 T to come, but I have the blank. Pensive doesn't take anything, so this D is no longer a floater. I think I'll play Chi here rather than above the I of voice to preserve the P as a bingo floater. Or do I? I don't have to bingo. And P and B don't go well together. Opponent could easily bingo through that P, so I think I'm going to play defensive with this positioning of the Q, and I'm also denying opponent a score in column 8. Just wondering about any 5-letter plays with a Q. I could burn my blank now and play caddy. 36 points, that's 25 points more. I'm minded to keep the blank. It gives me flexibility. If I have to get a bingo to win, then the blank will be worth having. And if opponent opens a lane, I'm in good shape to respond. But am I missing anything? Burka is good. through a U. No U's on the board. 9 minutes on my clock. Can-at is good, but I don't have a T. Any other QI spots I've missed? And the advantage of cheese is that it burnt the I. Let me count the remaining vowels. 8 out of 23. In that case, I'm happier to keep the I on my rack. I am going with this. So I draw a consonant. Do I have anything with the blank as a T? No. Although it's close. And I don't think there are any other lanes, but it's good to have scoring tiles. There's only the F and the H that are scoring tiles that's left. Can I get good value from them? Both of them go in front of US. So I could play M in that spot. Scores 20 points. It may be tough to score more than 20 for the remainder of this game, so this looks like a pretty tight ending. I have Barmia on my rack as a 7. 24 for opponent, burning an S. 2 E's to come. I was thinking about playing MIC, which takes an E in front, but not with 2 unseen. But I could play Micah in that spot. 13 tiles to come, wow. 8 minutes on my clock. So, what to do? And still 1 S to come. May well be on opponent's rack. 7 minutes on my clock. I don't have any extensions of BES. £21 points. That's a decent score. It's not providing very much for opponent. The danger is that I don't draw vowels, but I think keeping 1 vowel and the blank is good enough. Now, the alternative I was considering was playing EM. 23 points, keeping 1 more vowel. Yeah, this feels slightly more balanced, and I'm retaining the I for QI. There is 1 to come, but only 1. And that's not super hot. Deb is good. So what have I got here? I could play by. Wow. Creating a 7-letter lane, and this is a really good 5-letter set. Do I do this? What can go after BI? G can, N can, S and T. Wow, is this complete madness? Five minutes on my clock. 19 points. The score's fine. The rack lever's great, better than anything I've considered. And surely I'm favourite to bingo. And I trail. I am going with this. So, great rack. I've got the T for best. Do I have a bingo? I have Sarment. I do have a bingo in column 15. Do I have a bingo in row N? Okay, opponent takes out that spot for 28 points. Ouch. So I'm looking for a bingo with a T near the front. Not seen one so far. Tenor man through an N. Trapmen not good. Artsmen. Sarment. Truesman with an S. No, not saying it. I trail by 29. So what are the anagrams of raiment? Meranti and minaret. Any other hooks to bez apart from T? No. 9 tiles left. Do I have a play in column 15? Not that I can see. So can I score with the M and set up a lane? What about this? For 8, keeping a very strong set. Takes an A, there is only one. And takes an S, there is only one, but S in second place may not score very much. I'm quite tempted by this. This is a good rack lead. 3 minutes on my clock. Yeah, and if I did have a bingo beginning with T, it takes an S, so opponent would have a very big response. I am going with this. So I have Anestra in row O. Do I have anything beginning with T? 3 minutes on my clock. Or T very close to the beginning. Tanager. Wow. Will opponent manage to block both? Interesting. Very difficult for opponent to block both, but they're a strong player and they may find a way. But I do have bingos in row O and row N. Wow, 8 tiles in the bag. Will opponent bingo themselves? That's Tanager. Let me just consider the rest of the rack while opponent's thinking. Not seeing anything else. That's Anestra. And Santera. Yep, that doesn't play in row N. Great. Let's see how the land lies. I need to pause there. I'm very short on time and there are still 6 tiles in the bag. So I've got Tanager. I am bingoing. Do I have a row O bingo? IO takes an S and an N. So I have Santera. Fantastic. Ooh, but I'm setting up an H spot. 73 points, 411. I'm setting up an H spot and I'm drawing 6 tiles. But the H is the only danger here. Still 2 minutes. Is there really nothing in row O? I do have an N. What goes after EL? D does. F does. And I'm mentally considering N and S. M does. S does. Anestra just fails. No SN words. I can't do Tanagers because Best takes an S. Where was I up to? ST, TS. Nope. Okay, let me get Santera down. 473. And I draw the H. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. And I lead by 42 points. Opponent's got Gillers. Or Grills. Don't think there's anywhere for that. Opponent will surely block this H spot. 1 minute on my clock. OM, I don't have any tiles for going after that. Opponent's only got the S. That's not very useful for them. H can go underneath the E of Pensive. I don't have anything down from the A apart from my Ruhei. That doesn't get tripled. Phew, 33 points, so I lead by 9. Opponent's just got an S. So I can play Hewer for 32. That's surely going to be enough. Maybe I should have checked for opponent's S spots, but no need. And the final score, 430 for opponent, 453 for me, a winning margin of 23 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a fantastic game. So it was me to go fast, and I have Mifty, which was a great start. And this is also fantastic. Well, not also a fantastic play, but this is a fantastic play. Haniwa's 452. Now I have a choice of spots for pivot. Opponent plays Jowl. And Intone for 70 was the best that there was. But G8, Anointed. Well, it's setting up a hot Q spot. Endpoint, Dentation, F1. Well, that's putting a D in column 1, so I think Intoned is fine. Opponent plays Axed. Wow, E11. None a taker for 98 points. Wow. I don't think that's in my card box yet, but what a beautiful 9-letter word. Unikite for 90. Oh, wow, running all the way over the top of Intoned. Yep, Anti-Nuke for 84 through the I. Aren't like. So what do? I play Cat for 46, keeping blank ENU. So what's blank ENU worth? Blank worth 25 to 30, E helps it, N helps it, U fairly neutral with the N. So this could be a 30 to 35 point leave. Plus 46 makes it an 80 point play, but definitely the 90 point play and the 98 point play would have been better. But Cat, not terrible. Opponent plays Core, and this is the rack I was ruining, having forgone the bingo. So I change. Yeah, I could have got 18 points, but IIU pretty grim. Opponent's rack and a great spot of Dowliers with a rack with 5 vowels. I'm able to come back with Pensive, and I could have got 2 more points in the same spot with Peeving. Why is that? PENS. Okay, I'm not quite seeing why Peeving. Ah, because it starts 1 square to the left. But Pensive, fine. Opponent plays Tugged, and I've drawn the second blank. And I was delighted to spot Faye, which just because the score is so high. Opponent takes out that bingo lane, and I've drawn vowels, so I'm not in great shape. My lead is only 10 points. I play Voice for 11. Wow, in third place. There were very slim pickings on the board. JC has a horrible rack leave. And Cozy, J10. Well, Cozy takes a number of hooks after, certainly an R and an S, and I think a D. So I think actually Voice is fine. Opponent plays board. Now I have the Q, and I think it's right to get rid of it. I don't think QI and pi is the right play. There is an I to come, and a U. Fakir burns the blank. Yeah, so I'm happy with my play. And opponent is close to a bingo. So I think taking out this P was the right thing to do. Opponent plays voices. So let's just go back. They didn't have a second S. Wow. Now, my rack. No bingo here. I5. Wham. What a spot. Ita, Nim, and nothing else. But 28 points and a good rack leave. Instead, I play by 419, creating a new 7-letter lane, and I was gambling on being more likely to bingo than opponents. Which is probably true, but I was also setting up an F spot for opponent, and now I trail by 30 points. Oh my word, look at this. Tone Arm and True Man both playable in row N. I didn't see either. Wow. However, they both have the demerit that best takes an S, and opponent burnt an S cheaply. They didn't have the second S, but I thought that they were more likely to than not. So I wouldn't have felt great about doing that, and in any event, both of those bingos set up row O bingos, and my lead would only have been about 40 points. So what I do instead is open row O and give opponent a difficult decision, because they don't have an A or an S. What are they going to do? So they play LO to block row O and only score 10 points, so they had to sacrifice points to block that lane. And it's not good enough because I have bingos, O6, narrate and iron. What do? I play Santera for 73. Okay, so only one more point on offer. However, yeah, Nart G, probably the play, not providing a hot H spot. Opponent didn't have the H, but they might have done, and they might have been able to play a play with the H and getting doubled for 50 points. Anyway, I did bingo. Opponent plays Gaulia. I lead by 9, but I've got the precious H, and I'm able to play Hewer for 32, which seals the deal, and the best opponent can do is Jays for 14. But what an epic battle. Really, really amazing stuff, and really challenging racks to consider. I think there were 2 racks where I changed, and I always have qualms about changing. It's really painful to score 0 points on a turn, and the changes don't always result in an immediate bingo. So super exciting stuff, and the whole of the end part of the game was really intriguing, especially the plays of whether to pass up the bingos on row N, supposing I had seen them, and also the play of opening row O. It's impossible to be sure of what's right. All you have is what happens in the actual game, and that's what makes Scrabble exciting. And in this instance, opponent was unable to block my bingo of Santera. That gave me the edge. Opponent didn't have the H, and I was able to run out the winner. But super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.